Those days. I remember those days.
Hello, vinyl community. This is Tommy, and welcome to another musical adventure. Today's adventure, I'm going to share with you guys a band that I have really fallen in love with and started digging over the last year or so. It was a band that was turned on to me by my old bandmate, Danny. Danny has been featured on this channel. He has a great guitar shop back in Hernando, Mississippi called Sweet Lorraine's. A lot of great guitar and gear there. Check them out. They've been on this channel before. But Danny sent me a link to a song by these guys. I'm going to talk about it in a moment. And it was just like, okay. And then, I mean, he knew that I was going to dig it. So if I said to you, here's a band that sounds like the Hollies, the Who, the Kinks, the Beatles, that mid-60s power pop rock harmony, that whole thing, then this might be a band you want to check out. They're from Tucson, Arizona, and they're called the Resonars. The Resonars have been around since 1992. The primary member, writer, producer, main guy behind the band is Matt Rendon. Matt, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, but Matt is the main guy behind the Resonars, has been driving the ship for quite a while now. Writing and recording and producing all of the above. Great band. You can find their music on Bandcamp, and I suggest that's where you get it if you decide to purchase any of it, because I think Bandcamp probably takes care of the artists a lot better than a lot of these other places. But you can find their music, I think, on most of your streaming services, online retailers. I think you can find quite a bit of it, but I suggest going to Bandcamp if you decide to buy any of it. And check it out. Absolutely check it out, because I think that's the whole thing about the vinyl community and the music community, is sharing the music that we love with each other. And hopefully, I've been turned on to certain bands and artists because of watching videos that you guys have made. And so hopefully, this might turn you on to somebody that you may not have heard of. And if you have heard of them, great. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. But I'm talking about the Resonars. And so we're going to start at the beginning with the self-titled Resonars album, originally released in 1998. Now, everything about the Resonars is sort of like, a do-it-yourself, lo-fi kind of thing. They kind of stick to the aesthetic of sort of the time period that they're paying tribute to. Listening to a Resonars record, like, you could tuck this away in a record store, like in the 60s bin, and you would run across it, and it probably wouldn't even stick out to you. It would look like a lot of the records, and you would pull it out of a dusty bin at the back of a store and put it on, and it would sound exactly like you would expect it to sound. Garage rock, pop psych, there's so many things in there, but again, kind of lo-fi. This album was recently reissued and remastered in 2021 with a couple extra bonus tracks, so you can get this deluxe edition. It's kind of been souped up, the audio has, on the band's Midtown Island label out of Tucson. So you can get your hands on it fairly easily. And it's a cool record. It's just, it's one of those records, you turn it on, you play it loud, and you just let it rip. And so it's fun. Now, the next one was my introduction to the Resonars. This is the song, there's a song on this album that Danny sent me. The song was If He's So Great. The album is Bright and Dark. It was issued in 1999 on the Get Hip Records label. And you could tell by the cover. And if there's any background, if I said 12-string Rick, Americana Sam just did a video on Jingle Jangle Rock, and here you go. And so if that's your scene, if you like those sort of, tight harmonies, that chimey, Rickenbacker sound, this is a great place to start. I would say this is a great place to start with the Resonars, but you can really start anywhere because there's not a bad release in the catalog. But I'm a big fan of Bright and Dark. The next album is a sort of a fan favorite. It's Lunar Kit. This came out in 2002. I think of this as sort of a transitional phase for the group. I think you could tell there's some changes there, but it's not like, with the Resonars you're going to get like, a Jazz Odyssey record. But there's a great song on here called Everything You Said, and it's a very indicative song. It's a fan favorite, but like I said, if you really want to kind of just dip your toes into the water and check what this band's about, If He's So Great was my introduction. That's what hooked me. But Everything You Said is a fantastic song. Again, that's on the Get Hip label. And then the last album they did for Get Hip, which is a really, to me, a happy, upbeat sort of record, is None the Less Blue. Now, this record came out in 2007. I think that Matt was looking at making some major changes in his life. And so this record was kind of, I feel like he was completing, the work for Get Hip. But like I said, it's happy, it's upbeat. And so the music on here is just, it's the bright, sunshiny side of that stuff. And you talk about the cover, it's that kind of stuff. You can't judge a book by its cover, but you can probably judge a record. So here we are, and the band transitions from the Get Hip label to Trouble in Mind. And part of going into Trouble in Mind, and most people say this might be the place to start. I keep saying, where do you start? But the greatest songs of the Resonars. So here you go. This is a 14-song compilation, and it features a lot of those songs that I was mentioning. But, this might be the place where you go, okay, this is a good overview. 2014 is when it came out, so it's kind of right in the middle of everything as far as recording goes. And so, some people say that's where you go with the greatest hits compilation. Well, here you go, the greatest songs of the Resonars, Trouble in Mind Records. Cool one to check out. Now, an odd sort of release, and they sort of did an XTC thing, where XTC did Dukes of the Stratosphere. The Resonars did the Butterscotch Cathedral. This is on the Trouble in Mind label, and this was a collaboration with Chris Ayers, and this is more of what you would call psychedelic pop. I love this record. This record is just, it's just fun. And again, you talk about the time capsule quality. Everything about this record just looks like you could hand it to somebody and say, hey, when do you think this came out? 1968, 67. It's right in that wheelhouse. And so if you're a fan of more of the psychedelic side of that period, this is a great fun record. And so the band keeps continuing. And so there's one album that I don't have on vinyl yet. It's on its way. So in that album is 2018's No Exit. So I'm not going to be able to show it to you because I don't have it. But I am getting it. Like I said, it's on its way to me because gotta have it. I think the last vinyl copy that sold on Bandcamp was bought by my friend Sean. Hi, Sean. Sean bought my record. Anyway, he's enjoying it. He's got it. So I can't complain. I know where it is. But No Exit on its way to me. So I'm going to pick up with the 2020 album called Disappear. Now, this is on the Midtown Island label. Disappear is, 2020. This is the COVID album, if you want to call it that. And you can tell by the cover, it's got, this sort of little bit of isolation to it. I think the writing and recording of this album, and Matt can probably tell us a lot more, but I think Matt was experimenting with how he wanted to do it. Like a lot of us in 2020, we were stuck with a lot of time on our hands. And so creatively, this is a little bit of a different approach. But it's a cool record, and it definitely falls in line with what you'd expect from the Resonars. And finally, the last album I'm going to show you guys on Coma Cave is the album Electricity Plus. This was their last album, or the most recent album they've come out with. And this is a really cool, upbeat thing. Like I said, it's cool that this band is still making music. It's cool that Matt is still inspired to write songs and to record them and release them. I know he's just like any good creative, he's just out there doing it, and it's very cool. So check out the Resonars if you're into, like I said, 60s music. If you're into that thing, you'll find a kindred spirit in Matt and his songs and his music. If you like the British invasion stuff, if you like your rock with a little bit of edge to it, a little bit of attitude, I think you're gonna really dig the Resonars and what they're doing. And if you order anything from them, tell them you heard it through me. That'd be nice. Matt's a good guy, and really enjoy what he does, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from him. So glad he's in there doing what he's doing. So anyway, check out the Resonars. Bandcamp would be the place I would tell you to order from, but check them out on social media, all the good things, and just dig in and see what you think. Hey, if you're new to my channel, you know what I'm going to tell you. Go ahead and subscribe. Comment down below. Have you heard of the Resonars? What do you think? Tell me down there in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. And as I always say, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.